Hello there, Coach Chris here. I'm dressed down today because I want to have a plain talk conversation with you. I want to talk just a moment about stigma. And stigma is kind of like the reputation, the stigma of alcoholism and addiction. The fear that people experience when they are afraid that someone is going to find out that they have a problem with drugs or alcohol. That's considered a stigma. And the thing I want to make you aware of is that stigma is not what it used to be. And the ideas that we have about the stigma of someone finding out that we are alcohol dependent or drug dependent or are addicts or alcoholics is not what may be in a lot of people's minds. I want to share this with you, and this is from a credible study of people who were interviewed in the year 2019. And this is quite astounding. I just ran across this data set recently, and I wanted to share it with you. And the reason that I'm going to share this is because I know for sure that there are a lot of you, a lot of people who are in fear or ashamed or embarrassed to seek help. Why? Because they don't want to have to face telling someone or asking someone for help. It is in their minds an embarrassing thing to say, you know what, I think I got a problem with alcohol, or I've been using drugs and it's kind of destroying my life and I don't know what to do. I need help. Well, here's what the study said, and I'm telling you about this because I want people to know that your fear of being found out is really a waste of energy. Two things before I tell you about the study, the survey. Two things. Number one, and I know this from my own experience, people already knew that I had a problem with alcohol and drugs long before I admitted it and said I needed help. Long before. The idea that I was hiding it from people, that I was doing it behind closed doors and no one knew, was just, I found out later, was ridiculous. As a matter of fact, as my story goes, this is kind of proof of the nature of the disease of addiction. I didn't think people knew that I was using cocaine and drinking alcohol every day, and leaving work in the middle of the day to go have a couple of drinks at lunch, and leaving in the afternoon to have a couple more, or spending outrageous amounts of money on drugs. I didn't know that people knew any of this. So after I got sober in 1994, part of my process to really get engaged with my recovery was being accountable to the people that I had harmed in some way during those 18 years of substance use and alcohol use. The people that I had lied to or had shortchanged them in my work, people who I had taken their money and not delivered what I was supposed to deliver for payment, because I was more interested and completely obsessed with using substances. So as part of my recompense or my amends to these people, I sat down and made a list of all the people that I had harmed in some way or lied to in some way, and I decided that I was going to make these amends or have these conversations with these people to apologize for them and see if there was anything that I needed to do to make it right with them. So, to make a long story short, here's what happened. By the time I got sober, I was living in another state, a long ways away from where the lion's share of the substance use had been going on in my life. So I had to do this, what I call an amends road trip. So I had this list, and I marked down kind of in order, in geographical order, of where I was going to go first, who I was going to see first, and then next after them, and next after them as I traveled south to meet face to face with as many of these people as I could. The very first person that I stopped to see was a guy and his wife that I worked for on and off for probably 3-4 years. And when I walked into the office of their business, the wife looked up at me and her eyes got big and she said, "Hey." And I said, "Hey, how are you?" And she said, "Hold on a minute." And she stood up, turned around, and walked out of the room back into her husband's office. And immediately he came out of the office, walked out the door and looked at me and said, "Oh my God." And then something really strange happened that I wasn't expecting. He walked toward me with his arms out and hugged me. First and only time that this man ever hugged me or showed anything besides a business kind of relationship attitude with me. And he hugged me and he held back and he said, "Oh my God, we thought you were dead." I said, "What?" He said, "Yeah, you just disappeared and we thought you had died." And I said, "Really?" He said, "Yeah, we knew that you were not in good shape. And when you just disappeared and fell off the map, we thought you had died." So I went into his office and sat down with he and his wife, and we chatted a little bit, and I said to them, "I'm here today because I know that I didn't do right by you. And I know that I didn't do the things that I was supposed to be doing when I was on your payroll." And I said, "I was using drugs and drinking like a wild man with no sense of devotion to you or really to anyone. Wives, children, no one in my life was I being responsible to or accountable to." And he said, "Look, we knew what was going on with you. We just didn't know how to help you. And we didn't know how to approach you because it was obvious to us that you were trying to hide what you were doing, but we knew it the whole time." So that idea that I could hide my addiction from people, it's not real. And probably most of you that are watching this video, if you are a person who has a substance use problem and you think you're doing a good job of hiding it, chances are that you're not, and that people that care about you and people that know you and people that see you on a regular basis, they've watched your decline. They know something's going on, and they probably know exactly what it is. So I'm talking about stigma, and I'm talking about the idea that you don't want to come out and you don't want to ask for help. Here's the study, the survey that I just read. There were over 12,000 people that were surveyed in this particular study. And what the numbers said with the 12,000 responders was that 1 out of 4 of the people surveyed had a family member or a close friend or a loved one that they knew had a substance use problem. 1 out of 4. That's 25% of these 12,000 people that were surveyed knew that they had this loved one, or could have been more than one loved one, who had a problem with substances. So what that tells me is that it is not a strange or weird or crazy idea that somebody could have a problem with alcohol or drugs. And the way that I want people to look at this problem, at this disease, this dis-ease of life that leads to alcoholism and drug addiction, is I want people to look at it like any other illness. So we don't try to hide the fact that we have diabetes or cancer or any other illness. We don't try to hide that. So the thing I want people to remember is that alcoholism and addiction is a disease. It is diagnosable, it's treatable, and there are solutions to deal with the problem so that we can go into what? Remission. We can be in remission from this disease, this terrible disease, that, by the way, is killing people every day. Alcoholism and alcohol and drug-related deaths are over 1,000 per day in this country. 1,000 people die from alcoholism or alcohol-related or drug-related death each day. It is the number one leading cause of death in the United States. So I implore you to stop the thought of stigma and reach out for help. Ask someone to help you. Whether you ask a loved one to help you find help, or whether you pick up the phone or go online and look up treatment center or recovery coaching course or recovery coach or addiction therapist or counselor, whatever you decide that you want to do, don't wait any longer. The stigma is not what you think it is. 1 out of 4 people know someone that has this disorder. So I wanted to give you that data and that information and tell you my little story, because you deserve the opportunity to put your disease of addiction into remission. So that information is important, and I wanted to talk to you from the heart. No coat and tie, no professional conversation sitting back in my leather wingback chair looking like a counselor. No, I wanted it to be from Coach Chris to you, from one addict and alcoholic to another. I want you to know that you deserve sobriety, you deserve help, and you are not hiding well. You're not hiding it from anyone. Eventually, as happened to me, eventually the consequences get so big that everyone finds out anyway. You know, you get arrested, you get in a car accident, you overdose, your wife tells you out, your children won't sit in your lap anymore. You know, it destroys life. It's going to come out. So don't be afraid to step forward and ask for help. That's what I wanted to say to you today. I thank you for taking time to listen. You can click some places in the comment section of this YouTube video if you want to go to my website, addictionfreedomcoach.com, where I provide lots and lots of free resources and information, tools that you can use. You can watch my other videos here on my YouTube channel. My job here is to help you find a solution to the problem of substance abuse. I'm not trying to sell my course to you. I'm trying to help you save your life, save your marriage, save your family, save your job. I know that you can turn this around if you get the right help. So this is from my heart, and I hope that you guys will take what I have said to heart. That's all I've got for today. I want to thank you for your time. Watch for my next video that's coming up, and subscribe to the channel so that you can be made aware of each time I post a new video. The Recovery Journey Addiction Freedom Course is all about helping you transform your life into the life that you deserve and the life that you can enjoy. It's about a transformation. And if you're addicted to drugs and alcohol, you need a transformation. Thank you so much. I'll talk to you again soon.